Okay, good morning. It's a Sunday after early morning. What time is it? It's 12:05. So buenas tardes. And the bit of gold you can see up ahead is the stupa, which is the Buddhist temple in Benalmadena Pueblo. And we're going to swing down by there and come back down the road towards the coast that way. There's a couple of drops of rain, but nothing too serious. Normally cyclists I would have, I won't say an issue with, but the Sunday afternoon cyclists. However, anybody who cycles and makes it up as to where we are here now deserves a pat on the back, because we're at quite a high altitude and the climbs for every direction are quite severe and not for the faint-hearted. So those who do make it up here aren't just your fat middle-aged men in lycra. They're actual proper hobbyist cyclists, adventurers, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to swing down left here past the Mariposeria, which is the butterfly park, if this bus doesn't take us out of it, which is coming from Mijas Pueblo, which is the next pueblo over. There's a little conversation there with someone. Okay, so up ahead there is the stupa, and it's free in. Opens most days. I think it closes on Mondays. What's interesting is there beside it is where they carry out the passion plays, which happen at Easter, where they do a 3 or 4 or 5 hour storytelling of Jesus. It's worth it. It's a long old day. If you've never seen one, you don't have to be religious. I am not. I am an atheist. But it is good to see it. I mean, the whole community, the schools get behind it. And it is actually, if you've never seen one, you should go along and see it for a couple of minutes or an hour or whatever. The whole lot of it, as I said, goes on for several hours. So you'd want to be a bit dedicated to do the whole lot, but it's certainly worth doing. They put up stands and everything that you can sort of sit down, so you're not just standing in the heat. I went to see it last year. It was the first one that they'd had since COVID, and it was really, really hot, but it was certainly worth it. Okay, so we're just going to drop down towards the coast. We're about 1.5 kilometers in from the sea here. We're up about, I suppose, 300 meters from the sea. There's several ways to get down. This is not the quickest way, but there's a nice little curvy route here, which will hopefully come up nice on camera, assuming I remember to press record. Okay, so we have below us, and we have a very slow driver, which obviously you're not going to take these at mad speed anyway. To the left there you can see a weird looking castle. They've pulled in there. That's it. The little castle. That is the Columbus's castle, Christopher Columbus Castle. Initially I thought maybe Columbus had some connection to this area. He doesn't really. It's a tiny little castle, as you can see. It only costs about €3 in, so if you're ever in this region, it is well worth a little tour around it or walk around it. You can see it's quite busy. It opens most days. Today's a Sunday. It's probably one of its busier days, but it is certainly worth a little visit if you're in the area. Okay, we're going to be going down to the right here, where that car is letting someone else out. And it does draw, it attracts the tourists, so it does. So we're going to pop down the coast just in between Torremuella, or just after Torremuella, and near Fuengirola. And we're going to drive up a bit towards Fuengirola. Stay on your own side of the road, thank you. ahead of us you can see the Mediterranean. So where are we on this? We are about 80 kilometers along the Costa del Sol from Gibraltar. We are just outside of Malaga. We're in the province of Malaga. We're about 12 kilometers west of Malaga Airport, and we just left the pueblo of Benalmadena, which a lot of English tourists call Benalmadena. And Benalmadena Pueblo is nothing to do with where most of the tourists end up, which is Benalmadena Costa. Benalmadena Costa, there's actually 3 Benalmadenas, which is really confusing, all in the same area. Benalmadena Pueblo, which is the original Benalmadena, is the village, Pueblo being village. And that is up the mountains where villages were tended to be, because there's a couple of degrees cooler climate, and it's where they would have grown olives and such. So the Benalmadena Pueblo is the actual original Benalmadena, and most Spanish people, especially older Spanish people, when you say Benalmadena, they will assume you're talking about the Pueblo. At some stage, I think maybe the 70s, Arroyo became quite popular as a commercial area, and a lot of Spanish settled there. Arroyo was about 4 kilometers road-wise from the Pueblo and above the coast, and it was it's where a lot of businesses set up, and it is known as this sort of Benalmadena Arroyo. Arroyo just means stream, Arroyo de Miel. Honey Stream is actually the name of the area, but it's where the train station on the Secanias, the local rural train line, comes in, and it's known as Benalmadena train station. So a lot of people think that's Benalmadena. And then to add confusion, the tourist area, which is about 1.5 kilometers from the train station, which has some delights as the Bonanza area, and that is Benalmadena Costa, and that is where most, which means just Benalmadena Coast, which is where most of the tourists and the hotels and the areas around there are. And there is a walk that takes you from most of the coast here, but you can go all the way from Torremolinos all along, and you can sort of do a nice coastal walk, and it goes all the way out. Well, they're extending it all the way out towards beyond Estepona, and there's parts of it now. The main parts though are from Fuengirola, Benalmadena and Torremolinos. So that region there where the port is Benalmadena Port. So it can be very confusing of when you're saying you're Benalmadena. It spans an area, quite a large area. Okay, so in the distance over there, you can see those buildings. That is Fuengirola. And this complex here is Holiday World, which is round about where the elephants are. And it's quite big. The actual train goes through, bisects the complex. You can see the train tracks up there. The area we're coming into here now is known as Carvajal. And there's a lot of work is going into the beach area down there, the beachfront. They're redoing a lot of the boardwalks, and they're redoing the Chiringuito. Chiringuito is just a beach bar, and they're redoing a lot, and they're putting, in fairness, they are putting a lot of money into the area. They do invest a lot of the tourist money back in to the area, which is good to see. So it doesn't just go to the straight to the government. It is sort of ring fence for development of the area. there has been a lot of, unfortunately, bars have closed down, COVID, and that didn't survive the COVID years. And this year is going to be probably tough again for a lot of the residential, or not the residential, the tourist places, because we're in, what are we now? We're in the start of March, and there is already a drought forecast, and swimming pools and such like are not being allowed open, which is obviously going to potentially hit the tourist market. I should have gone there now. Anyway, today so a couple of scramblers behind me there. There is a nice drive along the left there, where you can sort of drive all the way beachfront sort of drive into Fuengirola, but there are road works going on, and the road sort of closes off halfway, so let the lads go past. Okay, so we're coming into, in case I cut out any video there, we're coming into Fuengirola. That's the train that we're just going under. Well, not the train, it's the train tracks. This road is going to be a bit messy, and it's quite boring. It's just a dual carriageway into Fuengirola, so might pause the video again here. Well, there goes the train. That's Las Poliches train station that we've just gone past. What's annoying about some of the crossings are some of them are just what we call zebra crossings that person have right away, and some of them are traffic lights. So you're always going, which one is it? Which one is it? Are those people going to walk? Are they not going to walk? Banana. Saw someone getting taken out by a scooter along here one day, one of these zebra crossings. There was no, thankfully, there was nobody injured. They all walked away. But yeah, it easily happens that people, especially when there's distractions around and stuff going on, you just have to be really careful on these roads here. we'll just ignore that little bit of a roundabout there. And there's a handy little motorbike park just here, as you can see, the forest here. So I'm just going to park up here for a small bit, and then we'll get back to filming later.